Hey guys! I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to day 4 of the Urbana North devotional series. Today's devotional focuses on true freedom. So I'll read the Bible verse, which is Romans 6:15 through 18. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? By no means. Don't you know that when you offer yourselves to someone as obedient slaves, you are slaves of the one you obey, whether you are slaves to sin, which leads to death, or obedience, which leads to righteousness. But thanks be to God that, though you used to be slaves to sin, you have come to obey from your heart the patterns of teaching that has now claimed your allegiance. You have been set free from sin and have become slaves to righteousness. Yeah, so I really like the Bible verse. It gets to the idea that whatever we obediently offer ourselves to, we become controlled by that thing. So that could be a variety of ways, whether it be through schoolwork, money, relationships, lust, anything like that. Basically, if you give into something, that becomes the thing that controls you. That becomes what has power in your life. So going through this devotional at first, I was a little uncomfortable with how the verse kept saying slavery and how you have to constantly be slaves to something. Especially the last verse when it says you have been set free from sin and now have become slaves to righteousness. Because I didn't like the idea of being enslaved to anything, right? But here's the thing. The context of slavery in the Bible is different from the narratives of slavery that we have in our modern view. And that goes for many things in the Bible. Obviously, we need to view it with a historical perspective. And in these verses, the idea of being a slave to something means being obedient to something. Obedience is the dutiful or submissive compliance to the commands of the one in authority, which you might say sounds exactly like slavery. Yeah, but keep in mind that the biblical obedience is different from worldly obedience. And this is the main idea of this devotional right here. For Christians, obedience comes not just from duty, but from love. Yeah, so as a Christian, we can't just quote unquote follow the rules only for the sake of following the rules. That's a really conforming mindset of Christianity, actually. Instead, we live a certain way, not bowing down to the ways of the world, but instead to God, because we love and trust God, and we trust His plans for us. What does this mean for us in a modern perspective? It means that living just to obey the rules will not get you far in life, but living to love the Lord with your entire heart will set you free. So, in obedience, we are free. Yeah. And to relate this to the quarantine society that we are all sort of currently living in, not sort of, we are living in, it reminds me of the rules that we have in place right now with social distancing and hoarding food and toilet paper and all of that. So right now, are we social distancing because it's the unofficial law, or are we social distancing out of love for others and respect for their health, along with your own health, obviously? Are we hoarding resources out of fear? Are we becoming slaves to fear? Or are we going to be obedient to our faith and share what we have out of love and trust that God will take care of us? Yeah, I could give a lot of examples, but you get the point. So to wrap up, we are called to be obedient to God in order for Him to set us free, in order to be empowered by His grace. So this week I really encourage you to pray for obedience and for faith and for humbleness that is necessary for obedience, and to really thank God for the freedom that He gives us, because that freedom gives us a life outside of the damaging ways of the world. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you.